Welcome to Thursday Night Live, Chad. You are here again. You were a guest on Thursday Night Live several years ago. Do you remember?
I do. It's been a little while, so it's an honor to be here.
Well, thank you. I haven't really done one for a while because we've been doing the Tuesday webinars but I thought we would start them up again. And for anybody that joins us or is watching us later on, we're really just having a conversation today. There's no agenda, although we do put people in the video business and we are both producer, director, editors. But um, I thought we would just talk tonight about taking a chance, starting. There are, and if anybody's tuning in, Home Video Studio has been putting people in the video business for 25 years now. And it all started just because I used to work out of the fourth bedroom in my house and in my other house, and I was there for 13 years. But I would be working on people's projects, and almost everybody at some point would look at me and say, "Hey, could you teach me how to do this? Could I get into this business?" And so we just started. But I've noticed in the 25 years we've been doing this, there are people that are just totally, totally fearless. And they just, from the get go, they hear about us, they call us. We call it first contact when you come in and when you first call. And then, gosh, 2 or 3 weeks later, they're on board. They're part of the home video studio family. And then there are people that hang on for years and then they may or may not come on. And then there are those others that just seem to take a long time and I always wonder, what happens? Um, how do people get unstuck? Because, I think I'm pretty much totally fearless. And I think that's probably a strength and a great weakness too, because I just do things and I get
Right.
myself into trouble, right? I mean, not big trouble, but I think, why do you think, what do you think's the biggest, and we kind of called this when we were talking the other day, is how do you go the last mile when you want to do something? It could be anything, but something major. And how do you make the break from thinking about it to doing it? And I know you have your experience too, but you know, what are some of your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think people more or less are just very comfortable with whatever they're getting right now, right? And there's that sense that if they make a change, if they make a jump, if they take a leap, there's so much unknown in that process
Yeah.
that there's more pain in the unknown for them than there is the pain of, just they just want to stay with where they're at. And so there's just too many unknown questions. They have too many obligations. They may have kids in college. They may, just have this steady job where it's tenured, or they're receiving some kind of, retirement that would just be silly for them to jump ship in their mind, to leave that. So I think it's just breaking out of people's comfort zones is like the hardest part of, making a decision to do something new.
Yeah. And I think we do, we have defense mechanisms that we come up with reasons why we shouldn't do something or even to put off a decision. Um, I know that I've seen that before. And like you say, some of these things, when you think about it, they're really true. Somebody's making 150,000 a year and they can totally buy the business. I mean, that for them, it's not a matter of finding the money or getting the money, but it's a matter of walking away from that corporate job that they may hate,
Right.
Um,
Right.
they may not like it at all. Something drove them to call us. And this could be about anything. I mean, what are some, I know you remember when you came on board with Home Video Studio, but I don't particularly want to use that. I mean, we could talk about that, but do you have any examples in your life when you thought about something, you were going to do it, and you just maybe it was a day, maybe it was a week, and you could not make up your mind. Um, but then you finally did it. Okay, I have a lot of examples like this. You finally did it, and everything went super. And in fact, you look back and said, "Oh my God, what if I had not made that decision?" You know, um, any experience like that?
Well, I think, I mean, it not necessarily in really big decisions, but just in small decisions. I would say, and my wife would be the first one to like raise her hand and say, yes, Chad has this problem, and that is he's a procrastinator, right? There are things that I procrastinate about, not necessarily business, but just things that, when my taxes are due, I'm gonna wait till like the almost the last minute to get them
Right.
done. If I have to pay my personal property tax, which is what we do in Missouri, it's due at the very end of the year. And I'm like, I'm not gonna work on that until after Christmas. Like why would I need to do that until then? Whereas like my wife, when we were in college and there was a paper that was assigned at the beginning of the semester, Susie would have it done in like the first week or 2 weeks. And everybody hated her because
Um,
she got it done so quickly. And I'm the opposite of that. I don't know. I'm more or less motivated by the pressure of getting it done. But you're right. Like sometimes we put things off to a point to where when we actually do them, you look back and you go, why did I wait so long to do that? That was easy. Like that,
right. It was
you know,
easy to do.
that
Yes.
3 months or a year that I stewed over that one thing, took me 3 hours to do. And I just, put my nose to the grindstone and got it done. And now I feel so much better. And why was I worried about it?
Well, I do that with major projects here, and sometimes it works out to the benefit. Um, I had a project. It I don't know if you know this, but we are totally redoing every website that we have,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
is like 400 websites, maybe. Yeah. And so so that was the goal for this year, to get in and redo all the websites. And so I start thinking about it and looking into it. And for a while, for a while, I was thinking about doing the sites myself because they are a lot easier to do than they were 20 years ago. Do you know I made my first website back in 1995 for Home Video Studio?
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah. I did it, uploaded it, and like two weeks later, I got a call from a couple in Illinois, and they wanted to come down. This is another example of things because before we started Home Video Studio in 1990, 99, 98, 98, I think it was. Yeah. But regardless, before we started, I put this off for like 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
I kept thinking, all right, I should start this. People are asking me to help them start a business. And I remember going to Vegas for NAB and looking around and thinking, gosh, the boat, things are going to pass me by if I don't get this going. So I finally
Yeah.
started, and I started on a small scale. So I built this website and I put it up, and I got this call from this couple near Chicago, and they wanted to come down and see my studio. Okay. And back then we were working out of our other house, and it was in a fourth bedroom. And my studio was back then kind of cluttered, I mean, I had a lot of
Yeah.
stuff. So
Right.
I said, well, sure, you can come down. And this couple came down. We actually had dinner like we did with you. They were the first ones. And then they came over the next day and saw my studio, and they left. They couldn't afford it. It was
Yeah.
like back then, it was just about like it is now. We start now at 70,000. We started then at 79.9. And they said, well, we really want this, but we both just went through a divorce and we can't, our credit's terrible. So, I never heard from them again, but they were the catalyst that really got me going on this because I had like kind of started it. I had a logo. I didn't have an ad in Entrepreneur magazine or anything yet. But since the studio, before they came down, I really took out all the clutter and made it presentable.
Right.
Um, and since it was good, I had I had Bill Tobias come over and take our first picture, and I put that ad in Entrepreneur magazine. Said I made over $100,000 in 1 year, and that's where it all started. But I'm
Right.
thinking about it. What somewhere? Do you believe in the parallel universe theory, which is very popular right now? I mean, this is a
Mhm.
serious thing. Are you into that? Are you up on that?
Maybe not. Maybe not to the
Really?
level that you are. I
Oh,
mean, I
well,
know what you're
no.
talking about for sure.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
there is a theory in physics and science that
Hmm.
says that for every decision you make, I don't know how this could be. It would be, of course, it's infinite. Every decision you make, yay or nay or whatever, we split off into another universe.
Hmm.
So out there somewhere, there's a Robert Hanley that did not start home video studio, or
Right.
one that started 4 years earlier or 4 years late.
Right.
So I often think, what if I hadn't started it? What would I be doing? And but that's how we started. And I'm not sure why we got off on this tangent, but well, we were talking about making a decision and going with it, and then the times in your life, well, you made that decision finally, and then you think, oh my God, what happened? What if I had not done that?
Right.
And I was thinking, I wrote out here today, I put this in the email I sent out, taking a chance, jumping out of your lane. Okay. People like to stay in their lanes. Um, Setting aside roadblocks. Some people use roadblocks as a way to say no, or a way to say no to themselves. But other people bring up roadblocks while you're talking to them. Well, I can't. Boy, we've got our daughter's getting married in January, so I don't think we could. Oh, but we could. She could get married in June. they
Right.
just they just shove them right away.
Yep.
Um, Pushing back fear. When you started your studio,
Hmm.
when you came to Indianapolis
Yeah.
and you started, and I know you are fearless, but did you have a little like, what would you call it? Did you have any like, oh my God, what are we doing? Or did you say that in the car as you were driving home?
Yeah, so that's a really good question because I don't know if well, of course you'll remember this, but so this actually happened, Robert, 20 years ago last week. I don't know if you know that or not, but on November 6th of 2004, that was my show and tell that Susie and I came to.
Wow.
20 years ago last week. So it's been a minute, right?
That
That's
was
kind of
20
cool.
years ago
Yes, right.
on,
On
wow.
November 6th. Yes. So, what had happened prior to that is I had sent for some information. I saw an ad in, I think it was Video Maker magazine.
Yeah.
I'd seen it over a number of issues, and I thought, you know what, I had been wanting to kind of start my own business. I was doing like some audio stuff on the side, and really wanted to have a viable business that would number one be successful, but just make it enough that I could obviously quit my job and do this dream thing that I wanted to do, right?
Right.
20 years ago. And so I sent for some information. Your receptionist at the time, her name was Renee. I talked to her on the phone. She sent me some CDs. And remember audio CDs, Robert?
Oh, I do.
So
I
you
do.
had two audio CDs that were sent to me along with some other information. And so at the time, my job, I had like a 30-minute commute each way. And
Yeah.
so I would let both of those CDs just kind of run in a loop for almost a month. And all the while I had called and scheduled to come meet you and come to a show and tell at that time on that day. But to answer your question, I think even on the way to Indianapolis, we drove from Kansas City, so it's about an 8-hour drive. The general conversation about home video studio was like, you know what, we're going to go to this presentation. At best, we're probably going to pick up some pointers and tips and some things that we can do on our own and do our own thing. And we're going to tell this guy, no, we're not interested in doing this. Right. And so that was kind of the whole attitude all the way to Indianapolis. And it was still probably the attitude like the morning of the presentation, like let's say in the first hour or so. Right.
Yeah.
And then you get to a certain point in the presentation where, we take a break and we go have lunch. And it was Susie, who my wife is a teacher. So, she has no interest in being a part of this business, even though she's an owner of the business, but
Right.
she's a career elementary teacher. She was the one that was like, I don't think there's any way you would be able to do all the things that you could do if you were a part of home video. So if you weren't part of home video studio, because they do this, this, and this. I mean, look at all the support that you would have. Look at this family that is, kind of already in place. It's like tapping into this conduit that's already working. You're not reinventing the wheel. You're not doing new, all these things and trial and error, et cetera, et cetera. You're tapping into a system that already works. It's a turnkey system. And I was like, okay, like hearing it from her was kind of the epiphany for me of like, okay, yeah, I think you're right. And because I was feeling the same thing, but of course I wanted her buy-in as my spouse. You don't want to jump into this business and not have the support from home, at the same time.
You were
So
lucky on that, by the way.
yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Real
Yeah. Yeah.
lucky. Yes.
Yeah. So, yeah, the attitude was like, I don't think we're going to do this until, halfway through the presentation. And then we're like, we're going to do this. It was the opposite. Absolutely the opposite.
I remember that show and tell a lot. I mean, we've done hundreds of those,
Yeah.
but I remember, yeah, oh yeah, I have some funny stories on those, but um, I remember because you both sat in the back row because we had that day we had like I think 5 or 6 different parties.
5
Yeah,
parties. Yeah.
yeah. Pete Gallo was there, right?
No,
No, no.
no. He was later.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Um, and I do remember you both being there, and I think you even mentioned to me that day when you signed your agreement that you hadn't planned on it.
Yeah. Right.
And that's the thing. I think that's the thing about sales, and that's one thing we teach. We teach in home video studio how to make money with video, and some people come with great scale sales skills. Other people have to learn it, and some people are natural. But see if I bet your customers say the same thing to you because we've been doing ever since COVID, we've been doing, I've been closing tons of jobs over the phone. And people call in and they say they not everybody buys over the phone, but a lot of people do. And one thing they say is, "Well, I didn't know, I didn't know I was going to be buying this right now," on the initial phone call. And then they give us a credit card, and it's $100, $3,000, or whatever it is. But I think that's true when people come to Zoom and Tell, or when they come to we do Zoom and Tell. But when they come to show and tell, a lot of them come on board that day, and they didn't know they were going to. But I also think the groundwork was made, was done. You got CDs. You remember we used to send out audio cassettes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's been an evolution. Like you ever see those
Right.
the evolution of man? You know, you see the caveman and the
Right. Right.
crawling, and then the upright man. Well, so the evolution of home video studio packet. I sent one out today to a guy in Michigan, Novi, Michigan, where Patty Safaya used to be.
Oh yeah.
So so audio cassette, okay,
Yep.
and then CDs, and then we included a DVD. But you know,
Yes.
it's always the theater of the mind, just like you said. You listen to that over and over and over.
Right.
That's been one of the problems in the last 5 or 6 years, or more, because people are so distracted. You get on your device and you're where you wanted to be for like a split second, and then you're off somewhere else. But so then audio CDs, and then we tried downloads, that didn't work. We tried flash drives, that didn't work. I think a lot of people now go to our YouTube channel, which this will be on there tomorrow, and then we have an on-demand webinar that works pretty well. It tells the same story. We also send out that packet now, you know, the
Yes.
video
Right.
book. So yeah, you can't just think, all right, so same premise of the question. Have you ever done something? Have you ever made a decision and then you made it and you think, well, what if I didn't make that decision? So Chad, what if you had not come to show and tell? Or what if you had come if you just hadn't purchased? What do you think I know you would have eventually got into this business. You were already actually doing videos, I recall,
Right.
or audio, or both.
Both.
What do you think that person would be doing? It's hard to say, isn't it?
It is hard to say. There's probably another Chad Godfrey out there in the world with your parallel universe theory doing whatever that is, right? I'm not sure, but it is funny when you think about like those decisions, because like earlier that fall, so this was in November, right? Early November that we
Yeah.
met and bought the studio. But earlier that fall, I had a job offer in Dallas, Texas, to do like video production for a church denominational headquarters down there. And on the surface, it looked pretty good, but I was going to have to either work from home and do a lot of commuting back and forth, probably
Right.
every 2 or 3 weeks for sure. And it just didn't seem like it was going to be the right thing. And so I ended up, bailing out of that. And I was already ironically working for a different church denomination, here in Kansas City, doing video production. And so I kind of kept that job. Originally, I wanted to keep it for I'd worked there for 6 years total, but I wanted to work there for about a total of almost a year after buying the studio, and we're going to ramp up at a certain time. And the business just got so busy for us because we had been putting some ads out and some different things, and feelers out, and trying to build the business, and it ramped up so quickly that it was 5 months instead of
Wow.
10.
Yeah.
And it just got it got to a point where it was almost awkward to have a day job, because I was accepting phone calls, for
Right.
work with my studio. And so, April Fool's Day 2005 was my first day of work, full time doing what I was doing, and with no other tether, at all.
I remember that.
Yeah, yeah. So it was it ramped up really quickly, and I don't know. It's been 20 years now, and I can't imagine doing anything else. I was 30 years old at the time when I bought the studio. I'm 50 now.
Wow. Yeah.
We have 3 kids. Our oldest is almost 22, so was almost 2 at the time, and our other 2 kids, don't know that dad did anything differently than what he does now, because that's just
Right.
the way it was. You know, our kids grew up on home video studio pretty much. So I don't know. I can tell you, we could speculate all day long, but I can also tell you I have no desire to have done whatever that decision would have been,
No
because this
regrets.
is zero regrets. Absolutely love what I do every day.
Yeah. And, for anybody watching, you really do it all in your business. But what's the best part, do you think? What's the what's the favorite, technically speaking, what's the thing, the service you like the best, or um
Well, I
is
love
it
video production and video editing, both of those things, shooting and editing video. So I kind of like the bookends of, the
yeah.
creation and then delivering the final product. Those are probably both my favorites. But more than anything, though, I mean, just about the business in general, my favorite thing is that I get up and I love what I do. But I set my own schedule. So we're at a place now, 20 years in, that we have 3 employees besides myself.
Right.
So I'm not the only one at the office. And I say the office, we have a storefront. So, I can text in the morning or the night before and say, hey, I'm still working on this project at home today.
Yeah.
Are you guys all right? Or whatever it is, and like today, I had put in so many hours earlier this week editing and so forth, that I just took the day off today. And, the business is still open. Like, our storefront is still open. We had 2 employees that were there today, working full time, getting all the work done, and, doing the reception and taking new orders, et cetera. And I just kind of took the day off and, got to hang out with one of my kids, and it's a good time. So that's, to me, the best part of the business, is not feeling
Yeah.
guilty, to not work, and just being able to call your own shots,
I
having
feel
that
guilty when
freedom.
I'm not working. I mean, to
I
me,
know, I do too.
it's not work for anybody watching. What we do, I think when you have the right business, if you are in business, if it's the right business for you, it's like playing a game. It's
Yeah.
it's it's like playing a video game in a way. In a way, I mean, we are in the video business, but it's this giant game, and you don't have to, but you want to play it all the time. But you do take off a lot. I mean, my goodness, that one picture I showed in that invitation, you were in Italy, right? You just took off and went
Yes,
to Italy
I
on a
did.
photo thing. And when I
I
saw that, I
did.
thought, oh, I'm so jealous. Not
Yeah.
that I don't have the same passion for still photography or photography that you have. I love it all, but I don't do that. But I just thought, wow, what an amazing thing that you're over in Italy
Mhm.
doing whatever you want to do. And I guess that's because you have your own business. It just happens to be a video business. Yeah.
Right. Well, it is. I mean, it is true to the name of it being a lifestyle business.
Right.
It really, really is. I wouldn't say that's the kind of thing I could have done in my first year or second year in
Right.
business.
Of course.
It's taken some time to build that up, and to, have the client base and the help in the office to, do that. But I mean, now I just absolutely, and I've always loved it. I've loved the process of building the business from the ground floor up to, where we're at in 20 years. But every stage of that has been not only challenging, but really enjoyable. But it's great to look back on now, and almost be like, look at this empire that has been built,
Right. Yes.
as a result of, all these efforts.
Of what you've done. And I know you're proud of it. That's the other thing we were going to touch on, just the legacy of having your own business, and
Hmm.
and 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 just moving forward. I don't know if any of your kids will want to get into your business eventually. We have a new owner in Orlando, Florida, Winter Park, and Monica, and she is doing the business with her son, who just got out of film school,
Yeah.
and gosh, Marlon.
Mhm.
And then we have another owner, kind of like they're like bookends here because we have a new owner in Las Cruces, and he is doing the business with his son, but Ben. So I don't think we've had that before, father and son, mother and daughter, the mother and daughter reunion, whatever. But so yeah, it's good. It's been a good run with you. And the thing is now there's never been a better time to have your own home video studio. We still essentially do the same thing that we did when we started out, but it is more complex, but it is so easy to do if you have the right tools. And some people they see our ads on Facebook and they'll say, "Oh, AI, you guys are done," or "AI can do that." I think that's for us in my studio, AI has really just been great. What do you think about
Oh,
AI in the
AI.
video business? Isn't it amazing?
It is actually amazing. I mean, the better AI gets, the more money we make. Really, to be honest. I mean, because I'm just thinking about photos in general. Like somebody will come in. Yesterday, we had a customer come in, brought in a wedding photo, and said, "Hey, is there any chance that you can take this family photo of 10 people and take this person off at the end because
Yeah.
they're now divorced." And just I mean, thinking about AI and what Photoshop can do now, I'm like, yeah, I mean, we can just kind of like circle this guy and generative fill him out, and just type the word remove, and he's gone. Kind of like the photos on Back to the Future, that sort
Right,
of thing,
correct. Yes.
right?
Oh my
So
God. Yes.
it's one of those things where I mean that's a reality. That's the kind of stuff that we're doing now. That would have taken an hour or two to clone that person out. It's become very very simple. Could your customer do that themselves? Well, maybe, but they came to you, so
Right.
those they're just tools in your toolbox that you're now offering to your customer. It makes your business easier, but you're still charging to do that. So yeah, I mean the AI is not going to replace us by any means, but it's become a very sharp tool in the drawer.
And I want to have a Tesla bot working here this time next year.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm serious.
yeah. That'd
I
be
could
pretty
see
cool.
it. Yeah, I could. I could. Like, I say he, it's funny. Will it be a he or she? But that Tesla bot could work 24/7,
Good.
running tapes, doing whatever.
There you go.
Well, so, I was about to say, so I was going to do the websites. And for a while, I thought about doing them myself because I thought, oh, things are a lot easier across the board. But, and I procrastinated on it too. It was, I think, don't they say that geniuses procrastinate or really creative people or something? So months went by and we really hadn't done anything. And it was really, I knew that I need to get this going, either do it or don't. And we were in Las Vegas, okay,
Hmm.
just 5 weeks ago. And I was working in the hotel and the phone rang. Denise was like in the background and I answered the phone and it was from a 317 area code, which is our local area
Yeah,
code here.
right.
And so I said, Home Video Studio, this is Robert. May I help you? And this guy goes, yeah, are you guys, do you need any help? Are you hiring anybody? And I know you get these calls too, right? I
Sure.
mean,
Yeah.
people want to work,
Hmm.
and I said, no, no, not looking for anybody. And I was just about ready to hang up the phone, like, because we're not looking for, I was nice, but we get a lot of those calls. But for some reason, I go, well, wait a minute. Do you know anything about websites? And he goes, yeah, yeah, and we started talking. Long story short, that was on a Friday. Monday, he comes into my studio here. And this is why I think sometimes I know this, people appear into your lives when you need them most, you know?
Sure.
And some people say, it's divine will or whatever, but this guy comes in and he, as it turns out, he's a darn near genius with this stuff. He knows so much, but he just walks in. He's working here full time now, and he's going to be a great addition to Home Video Studio and all the websites we have, because
That's
we
great.
have all these sites. Well, anyway, so then I'm thinking in the past couple weeks, wow, what if I would have just done what I do a lot? I'm always nice, but I said, no, we're not looking for anybody. Thank you. And then click. But for some reason I said, well, do you know anything about websites?
Mm-hmm.
And here's the funny kicker. You know, he he came in that Monday and we were sitting around talking, and I said, well, have you ever done anything like this? And he goes, well, for one summer, I worked third shift in this film transfer business. And it turns out he worked for me 15 years ago.
At the church.
Yeah, on third shift.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And I really didn't know him. I probably maybe I didn't even hire him. Somebody else might have hired him. Um, I do remember that we had two Pauls. But here's the moral of the story for anybody that is, don't hang up the phone. It just I think he's going to be a great addition to what we do here. And sometimes people just come into your life. So I'm really thankful for that.
Yeah, for sure.
Gratitude, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I just got that. Did you hear that? You can't hear that when I get a text, right? Because I always think it's disturbing the
No.
podcast. That was a text from Paul, our new web developer.
Oh.
And it's funny, I've got this on Do Not Disturb, but apparently that does not work total. Well, anyway, let's wrap it up. So,
Yeah.
you came on board. You're definitely having a 20-year reunion, right? Our 20-year
20 years, a
party.
celebration. Yeah. Yeah. In the
Yeah.
spring. Yep.
So do you have a date yet? I'm going to come.
Yeah. I believe, well, tentatively it is May 1st.
Okay. Oh gosh, I got a
Hmm.
dental appointment.
Right.
No. Okay.
Yeah.
So tentatively, I'm going to look and put that down.
Yeah.
May
Yep.
1st. So, all right. So, we've gone 39 minutes. Let's wrap it up. Parting thoughts.
I mean, when I look at this business and if I were in the shoes of someone and I was, right, 20 years ago,
Right.
looking at this business very seriously, I would definitely get in contact with you. I would get in contact with some owners. They could get in contact with me. You can share my information for those people
Right.
that would be interested. If this is a dream of yours to call your own shots, to own your own business, to transfer video, to edit video or produce videos, it is definitely a very viable business. I would do my diligence and, talk with Robert, talk with me, talk with some other owners that have done this business. It's, like I said, it is something that I would never, I love what I do and I would never change that.
Yeah.
I never have regretted making this decision, never once. And, 20 years later, I'm so thankful to you. I'm so thankful to the Home Video Studio family of other owners. It's, here we are at a time of Thanksgiving, right? But
Right.
I'm
Thanksgiving. Yes.
I am very grateful for you and grateful to others that brought this opportunity into my life, because I can't imagine doing anything else. So if that is something, if you're listening to this and this is something that you think would be good for you, then definitely get in touch and take this very seriously. We would be more than happy to chat with you further about it.
Yeah. And we can put you, people in touch with you, and that's great. I appreciate everything you just said, and it's circular because I appreciate you. You people don't know if you're watching this, you're going to learn this eventually if you come on board with Home Video Studio, but you do. You are our keynote trainer, right? You are at every training and you're training all the time. I saw a video today on YouTube because I'm on the treadmill in the morning
Yeah.
and I was going through these videos and this one said, make the perfect thumbnail for the tools you need or whatever for thumbnails on YouTube.
Yeah.
So start watching just a few minutes. I wanted to see if he said Keynote, right?
Hmm.
Because you taught us to use Keynote, and that's what I
Yeah.
use to make my thumbnails.
Oh.
But he didn't mention Keynote.
Okay. Yeah.
He mentioned Canva and some other thing. But
Uh-huh.
well, so parting thoughts. That's great. My parting thoughts are tonight. Denise and I are going to Benihana. It's her
Really?
birthday.
Yeah.
Well, it's her birthday month, October 31st.
Right. Right.
And so she signs up with all of these. She gets these free deals all month long. So
Hmm.
we're going. I mean, I have to watch it. I don't gain weight
Right.
because she's always got something free. And so tonight she gets Benihana does this deal. It's really good. She gets a free meal if we buy one, right? And so I buy mine. And so we're going to Benihana. Now I'm wondering if when we get done with this, is she going to say to me, let's just stay home, you know, because you never know. We go to Benihana. Here's the parallel universes again, the multiverse. One of us in one universe, we're going to Benihana. I
Hmm.
meet somebody who becomes a key person in my life, and the other one is we don't go to Benihana. We just stay home, but
Right.
we're going to Benihana.
Nice.
I don't think my parting thoughts were as poignant as yours. I will say this that if anybody is watching this at this point, go that last mile. But before you do that, the two things I hear from usually this comes from people that never do anything. And there's nothing against that because maybe they do something else or maybe, it just wasn't meant to be. Do you believe in Chad, do you believe in predestination? Do you think we have free will? Or do we not have free will and we just think we do? That
Mm.
I'm serious.
Hmm. No, I'm pretty sure we have free will.
I don't know that we do.
Yeah.
I
I
don't
was
know.
I surmised that was the direction you were going to go with this.
I don't know. But
Yeah.
well, it's a good excuse to blame things on. Well, I don't have free will. That's why I did that.
Yeah.
But anyway, so where was I going with this? Oh, I know what it was. People say two things that don't do this, and that they're not going to buy a studio. They're not going to they think about it, and then they're Robert, we're not going forward with this. And I say, well, it's okay because they didn't have free will. Like they were never going to do it anyway. But you know what people say? Some people say when I do this, it's got to be 100%. It's got to be
Mm.
100%. When I do anything, I'm going to do it 100%. And I really think that those people don't do anything, because that 100%. Have you ever started something with 100%?
No.
I haven't. I mean,
No.
shit. If oh, I just used profanity on my, French. That's pardon my French, but I haven't. I mean, I
Yeah.
really haven't. When I started almost everything I've done, I mean, I certainly had 100% of yes, I'm going to do this, but and make it work. But I don't think the times haven't always been perfect, right? When I've
Right.
started things anyway, there is no perfect time.
Right.
That's what I would say. Those are my parting thoughts is don't let that other voice in your head that even tells you don't make the phone call or don't, and it doesn't have to be a phone call to us. It could be whatever the next thing in your life is, but Two roads, that Robert Frost poem, two roads diverge in a yellow wood. I took the one that was untraveled by. I love that poem. And I think that's what you did, and that's certainly what I did in doing all this. And that's also the beauty. That's what who knows what we're going to do in the next 5 to 10 years. We
Sure.
have to come back and do this podcast a year from now,
Okay.
and we'll see where are we. What do you have plans? What do you have planned for the next year? Do you know where have are you a goal setter? Like, do you know where you want to be in 1 year, 5 years from now? Or or do you kind of wing it or what?
It's a little bit of both.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little bit of both. I mean, I certainly set like goals in terms of sales goals, like numbers that I want to hit
Yeah.
every year. Services that I want to start offering, things that I, definitely want to either continue or drop and focus on this or that. But when it comes to goals, like the main thing for me each year is going to be like sales goals, like numbers, and then, personnel to help me, reach those goals. So, it's this business, you can make just about any amount of money you want. It's harder to do by yourself than it is, with a little
Yeah.
extra help, just like you've got someone that's going to be doing some websites and things for you. The hardest part of this business is probably the first year of just learning all the aspects of marketing and sales and the technical aspects of transfer and, video editing or whatever that might be. But yeah, goals for me now are all like sales and growth and scalability.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Scalability. I was going to get into the fishing business, but too many scales. All right, Chad, thanks for being with us tonight.
Thanks
I
for having
appreciate
me. Yeah,
that.
this was
Yeah.
fun.
I'm going to edit this together in the morning, put it on YouTube. I'm sure it'll be a quick edit. One last question. On Premiere Pro, do you like the new properties panel?
I've not used it.
It
I have
looks like it's
I have
really efficient.
I have Premiere 2025, but I guess maybe I'm not aware of the exact panel you're referring to.
I'll send you I'll send you a link to one of the YouTube videos I watch. It does seem like it does seem easy. You know how they love to change things.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Everybody does. All these companies do, but this does seem like a good change. All right. I'm going to Benihana. What are you having for dinner tonight?
I've already had dinner.
Oh,
So
really? I can't have dinner but until I'm done. You've already had
yeah,
dinner.
well, my family kind of moved along tonight
Oh,
with other
okay.
activities, so I ate before I got here.
All
So
right.
yeah,
I am
yeah.
going to go to Benihana.
All right. Well,
All
you
right.
enjoy that. Catch some shrimp like in your
I,
mouth, from a
I will
distance.
catch no shrimp because I'm allergic to shellfish.
Oh, that's
I
right.
will
That's
not
right.
be doing
Maybe
that.
maybe a piece of chicken.
I'll do that. And
I
thanks for
forgot
being.
about your shellfish
Yeah, we went to Benihana like
allergy.
18 years ago on New Year's Eve, and there were so many people in Benihana that night. They had every table going, and there
Mm.
was so much shellfish in the air
Oh.
that my throat started swelling up, and
Mm.
I wasn't even eating any shrimp. It was all
Yeah.
that. Yeah, we almost had to go to the emergency room. All
Oh
right.
my.
What a way to end this.
What was something in the air tonight? Yep.
There is
Yep.
something in the air. All right.
All right.
Thanks,
Okay.
Chad.
All
Have a
right.
great
Take
day.
care. You too. Bye
I'm going
bye.
to go down here and get ready to click this. Are you ready for me to click the
I'm
end
ready.
button?
I'm
All
ready.
right. I'm going to do it. Here I go. You ready?
Bye everyone.
Bye-bye. Thank you. See you later.